Hey besties, welcome to Tok Spill, where the tea is hot, the truth is always honest, and the glow is always mesmerizing. Okay, so grab your cup because it's time to sip and spill. Let me tell you ladies something. Warning, warning. Stay off them dang dating online apps. Danger ahead. It's dangerous, sis. What are you doing? Someone told me to go on a dating online app a long time ago. I'm like, I'm not doing that crap. I like authentic. I like organic. I like real. I like to see my man in person. Thank you. The traditional way. He see me outside. He approached. We exchange numbers. Okay? That's it. But you got women today that are going online and endangering their lives. This is unbelievable. The first story, the story that you are going to hear is going to shake you to your freaking core. If this don't wake you up, ladies, I don't know what will. One of the stories is unfortunate because the lady lost her life. A white boy did something horrific to her. And another thing I want to let you ladies know too, stop favoring one race over the other. This was a white guy. She was a black woman. A lot of black women think that going white is right. And though we have a lot of black men that are pure trash in our community, Most High will deal with them, but all we can do, ladies, is pray. Okay? Doesn't mean that he's a good man because he's a white man. I don't favor no group of man or race. A good man is a good man despite his nationality or his race. Okay? So I want to just put that out there. Do not favor one race over the other, especially if he's white. No one's being racist over here, but I'm just saying, just use common sense, be logical, and just be fair, okay? Because it's evil in every single race. And we all know Caucasian men have done a lot of things to not just to black people, but to people all around the world, okay? Pay attention and lock in. All right, hear these stories.
This 19-year-old girl was found in literal pieces scattered around her town, and all she did was say yes to a date. Her name was Sade Robinson. She was living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and just trying to navigate dating like any other teenager. And one day she matches with this demon, and I will not call him a man because men do not do this, but his name is Maxwell Anderson. And he tells Sade that he was around her age, but that was actually a lie because he was 33 years old. And after a few days of texting back and forth, Sade is getting no weird vibes from him. If anything, she's actually really starting to like this guy because he seems normal and sweet. So when he asked her out, she eagerly said yes, because why wouldn't she? She's about to go meet a cute guy her age for dinner. And on April 1st, surveillance footage shows Maxwell and Sade walking into this restaurant called the Twisted Fisherman, and they get seated. And from what everyone can see, things are going really well. She's smiling, chatting, acting very normal. Nothing about her body language suggests that she's worried or getting any bad vibes. In fact, it's going so well, they decided to go grab some drinks at this nearby bar called Duke's on Water, and they stay there for hours just talking and laughing like any normal first date would be. At around 9 p.m., security cameras catch them walking out the bar together, getting into her car. Not his, her car, and that becomes very important later, and then they head towards his apartment. Maxwell lived on the top floor of this duplex, and what happened in that apartment is truly horrifying, and it's something that we'll never fully know, but his phone tells us enough. This man had these disturbing photos of her. One of them was her laying on the couch face down and limp, and he's shirtless, and she is clearly unconscious or worse. And after he was done doing God knows what to her, he waited until the next morning on April 2nd to try and secretly get rid of her body. He dragged her body into her own car and drove all the way to Warnemont Park. Surveillance footage shows the car circling around the same area multiple times, almost as if he was looking for somewhere discreet to get rid of her. And at around 4 a.m., Sade's phone location shows them arriving to another park. Maxwell drags her body out of the car, and for the next 2 hours, he stays there. And that's when he off her leg and threw it somewhere he thought no one was ever going to be able to find. Afterwards, he put the rest of her inside the car and drives to another spot that was really far from the park. My guess is he was trying to make it really difficult to even locate her body if he ever got caught, because if there's no body, then there really isn't a crime. He then drives to multiple spots around town, and from what we know, it was about 4 locations, but it could have been more. And at each location, he just cuts more and more and more of her off until she is completely unrecognizable. At some point, he He then drives the car to another sketchy location and sets it on fire. He just walks away thinking he just got away with what he's done. But what he didn't know was that a witness happened to be there and saw this car engulfed in flames. They immediately called the police, explaining that they just saw a man get out of a car, toss a lighter into the front seat, and walk away like he didn't just set a car on fire. They said he was wearing a gray hoodie and a tan backpack, and later that morning, guess who was seen wearing a gray hoodie and a tan backpack? Maxwell Anderson, walking off the bus just a few blocks from his house like it's any other Tuesday. Around the same time, one of Sade's friends starts feeling like something is off. She's contacting Sade, but she's not answering her phone. And even worse, her boss found it very off that she didn't show up for work, because it's not like her to just do a no-show. So now people are really starting to panic, but before anyone could even file a missing persons report, it's already too late, because at 5:30 that evening, someone is walking through Warnermore Park, the same park that Maxwell just took Sade to hours earlier. So they walk closer and closer, and that's when they see it. It's a human leg just floating on the shoreline. I can't imagine just walking and seeing a leg. Like, what do you even do? Police immediately arrive to the scene and send the leg in for DNA testing, and unfortunately it belonged to Sade Robinson. And because Maxwell was the last person to be seen with her, he was the last person to be driving her car, and now that same car is on fire, police quickly make a prime suspect. And on April 4th, they spot him in his car, they pull him over, and just like that, he's in custody. Inside his car was Sade's clothes and the same tan backpack and hoodie that was reported earlier by the witness. But this was just the beginning, because remember what I told you, the details are disgusting. That same day, police issued a search warrant for his home, and when they go inside, it is extremely clear that something happened here. They found blood on the walls in one of the bedrooms and all along the stairway to the basement. And in that basement, they find a literal dungeon. There were chains, restraints, blackout coverings for the windows. Like, it was built to hide whatever went on down there. And next to it all was 51 knives, and not your typical cooking knives. No, these were military grade, combat style tactical blades. We're talking hunting knives, machetes, serrated edges, the kind that you don't buy unless you plan on gutting something. Lock him up right now. They even find gas tanks, like more than one, which means that the fire wasn't some last minute panic. He planned this to the T. But while investigators are still processing this scene, more pieces of Sade are being found all around the city. I'm gonna spare you the gory details because I don't know if you're eating, but just know that they were found in ways that I don't even think you want to imagine. Oh, and I think what really got me was that before I did research on this case, I watched a video of him crying to the judge saying that he didn't do it. And at first, I'm like, oh, judge, he didn't do it. Y'all got the wrong man. But that was before I knew who he was. And now I know he for sure did this, and even his lawyers know he did it. Because look at the lawyer's face when Maxwell tells the judge it wasn't him. And in June of 2025, he is found guilty of first-degree intentional homicide. So basically, this man will never walk free again. But let's be honest here, that'll truly never be enough because Sade should be here. I truly hope prison is the worst place for you, Maxwell. Thank you for sitting through this one with me. I know it was really hard to hear, but I love you guys. Mwah, group hug.
I don't know what side of TikTok I'm on, but have you guys heard the story about the girl, the lady who went on a date with this guy? The date went great. At the end of the date, they both went their separate ways, and then later on that night, he either called or texted her, and he was like, hey, I'm locked out of my apartment, my roommate isn't here, and there's no spare key, so can I stay with you? And she agreed. He went to her house. I guess she set him up in the living room on the couch, and when it was time to go to sleep, she went in her room and she locked the door. So it was quiet, and around 3 o'clock in the morning, he knocked on her door and he's like, hey, my phone died, do you have a phone charger? So she didn't come out the room. She was just like, yeah, there's a phone charger in the living room on the counter. So I guess a couple of minutes went by and he knocked on her door again, and he's like, the phone charger isn't working, do you have one in your room that I can use? So I can't remember what happened at this part, but either she didn't open the door and he got upset, or she got uncomfortable and she called the cops. So when she called the cops came. She heard like commotion in her living room, and then the cops knocked on her door and they're like, you're safe, he's detained, but can you open the door so that you can see the condition that your apartment is in? When she opened the door, her apartment was covered in plastic, and there was tools just laid out. So he had this whole men are freaking crazy, insane.
I've been debating on telling this story because I've been kind of afraid, but just in case something happens to me, I'm going to tell this story just so y'all know where to begin if something happens to me. So I was talking to this guy on Tinder. I know, don't judge me. And he asked to meet like first night, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that because I really don't know you. So we rescheduled for him to come meet me last week. And this person right here is a person that I was talking to like when I had just got to the state that I'm in now. And we were texting back and forth, and all of a sudden we just stopped texting, right? He has me on no social media. As this guy that's coming my way, we're gonna call him Guy B. Guy B is coming my way, and he's like, oh, I'm like 5 minutes away at 7:55. At 8:03, Guy A says stop. I was like, stop. He said, yep. I said, stop what? He said, either you're doing something you're not supposed to or thinking about it. I have not to talk to Guy A in 3 weeks. So I'm like, this is either a sign or a setup. It's a sign or a setup. Mind you, when Guy B said that he was on his way, I started getting all nervous and jittery and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's because I'm nervous to see him or something. This was like, okay, either Guy's trying to tell me something or they know each other and they trying to set me up. Either way, your girl wasn't finna get got. So my mom's mom passed away when she was 7, so I never really knew her. So anytime that I'm trying to get out of something, I just use that grandma to get out of it. So I'm like, hey, mind you, at 8 o'clock, call me if you get lost, and another dude text me. But regardless, this is boy B, the one that was on his way to see me. I was like, hey, I gotta run to my grandma's real quick. I'll be right back. Something happened. And he was like, I'm 5 minutes away, even though he said that like a while ago. Like he was 5 minutes away a while ago. And then he was like, why are you phoning me? Hello, what the fuck? I was like, I'm with my family. And he was like, I'm here though. Mind you, he wasn't here because I was really at home. And I never give people my exact address. I always give them my address like down the street just in case they're fucking psycho. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, I had a family emergency. I gotta go, bro. Gotta go. But I was really home, but I was like, I gotta go. And I was like, okay, maybe. And mind you, yes, I know that I was wrong. I'm the villain. I was prepared to get cursed out. I was prepared to send him money I offered him money for gas. I'm going to get to that. I know that having someone drive to see you and then canceling last minute, yes, terrible. But y'all cannot be mad at me for ignoring signs because this could have been a completely different story if I didn't ignore the signs. And y'all are going to see in part 2 because this is ending.
This is why I deleted my Tinder and why every single girl watching this needs to delete her Tinder too. This happened a few years ago and I honestly consider myself so incredibly lucky to be alive after experiencing this. I was living in New York City at the time and I matched with a guy. For the entire time we were talking, he was really aggressively trying to get me to go out with him. And eventually I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let this guy take me out on a date. Maybe I'm just being judgmental. Maybe he's not being desperate. Maybe he's just putting in an effort. So the day of the date rolls around and he tells me that he wants to take me out to a restaurant that is a bit of a hidden gem and is a little bit outside of the city in an area of Westchester called Yonkers. And even though he offered to drive me, I was like, no, it's all good. I actually had my own car in New York City, so I agreed to meet up with him. Now, I feel like an absolute idiot because I didn't even Google this place before I went. So on the night of the date, I'm driving to this place. I put it into my GPS and it's really weird because as soon as I see it in the GPS, it says that the place is closed. So I text my date and I'm like, hey, I just put this place into the GPS and it is telling me that it is actually closed. To which he replies, oh no, don't worry. They're really bad at updating their hours. This is the part where I should have just been like, oh hell no, and I should have canceled the date. But somehow I decided it would be a good idea to get in my car and drive 40 minutes to Yonkers for a date with a guy. So after 40 minutes of driving in traffic, I arrive at this place in Yonkers. I pull up to the building and I quickly realize that there is nobody in the parking lot and that indeed this business is really closed. Not to mention, my car is the only car in the parking lot. So I start to panic, and as I look behind me to put my car in reverse, I notice another car pull up. This car pulls up right beside me. I don't even look at the person sitting in the car. I just simply back up out of that parking lot as fast as I can, and I get the heck out of there. The entire way home, I am just looking in my rear view mirror to see if there's anyone behind me, and thankfully there was not. And the craziest scariest part of all of this is when I got home, I went back onto that dating app and I could see that the profile had unmatched with me. I never got a chance to screenshot that profile. I never learned the guy's last name, but I can't tell you guys how many times I've heard this happening to girls on dating apps. It's not worth it. Just delete it for your own safety. And if you are going to be on dating apps, please always make sure to get the person's last name and to meet in a place that you are familiar with.
A couple of years ago, I matched with this guy on OkCupid. I think that was the app that I was using at the time. And, you know, the conversation was cool, and he was my type physically. At least that's what I thought. He described himself as tall, dark, and handsome. And he asked if we could FaceTime, and I said yes. Here was the weird part about the FaceTime, though. He didn't have an iPhone, so I had to download an app in order to FaceTime him, which I did, and we started talking through FaceTime. And, you know, again, he looked exactly like his photos. He told me that he was about 5'9", which was important to me because I'm 5'9". So I don't have anything against shorties, but honestly, just don't lie about it. Like, if you're short, just be honest about it. He was around my age. He lived maybe a half hour away from me. He worked in the city. He was from England. He didn't have any children, had never been married, and had recently ended a long-term relationship. So I didn't see this really going anywhere, but I was like, you know, why not? Like, I'm single, you're single. Let's just get to know each other. So after FaceTiming for a couple of days, he finally asked me on a date, and I told him that I wanted to go to a place that was near my house. Now, he didn't have a car, which wasn't a red flag because where I live, that's very common. Well, not where I live in the forest, but the tri-state area, it's very common for people not to have a car, so I didn't see that as a red flag. But he did ask me to come pick him up from his house, which I did see as a red flag, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, you can meet me there, you know, so you just have to hop on the train. I'm not coming to get you. So on the night of the date, he did that. He got on the train and I drove to the restaurant. Now, I was late. I was fashionably late. And I told him, hey, I'm running late. And he said, okay, no problem. I'm already here. And it was kind of cold. It was like during winter. So he was like, I'm just going to go into this bar and I'm going to have a couple drinks and wait for you. So I said, okay, no problem. Now, when I showed up to the bar that he was in, this person that I did not recognize started to approach me. And I soon realized that I had been somehow catfished, even though we had FaceTimed. So he was way shorter than what he said. Like, he was like 5'6" on a good day. And he was really drunk. Like, he was super, super drunk. So I was like, okay, great. Like, here we go. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm already here. I'm already out. I'm already dressed for the night. Let's just go to the restaurant. So we pull up to the restaurant, and like I said, this is a place that I've been before, and I'm really familiar with this area. So, you know, we are seated at our table, and he orders more drinks, even though he is clearly already drunk. So he orders more drinks, and at this point, he starts to order shots, and I'm just like, oh my God, okay, like, this guy is getting way, way, way too drunk. And his demeanor starts to change, and he becomes a little bit aggressive. So mid-conversation, he asked me to give him a kiss at the table. Now, mind you, this is our first date. I don't know him. And I'm like, give you a kiss. And I'm like, no, like, what? And so then he starts demanding a kiss. And he kind of starts to raise his voice a little bit. And the waitress comes over to ask if everything's okay. And I'm like, everything is fine. You know, like, I just tell her everything's fine. But everything is not fine. I'm already feeling uncomfortable, and he continues to order more drinks, and he talks with his hands a lot, so he ends up knocking over his drink, and the waitress comes over to clean that up. And while she's doing that, I decide that this is my chance to go to the bathroom and call my friend. So I go to the bathroom, and I'm like, girl, this guy is crazy. Like, I'm telling her what's going on. I'm telling her he's drunk and I'm uncomfortable, and she's like, okay, you got to get out of there. So I open the bathroom door, and guess who's standing there? Him. He's like, what were you doing? And I'm like, I'm sorry? And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm using the restroom. And he's like, who are you on the phone with? And I'm like, okay. So at this point, I just started lying. And I'm like, I wasn't on the phone. Like, I was sending my friend a voice message or whatever. Like, I wasn't on the phone. And I kind of like shove past him and go back to the table. And he follows me back to the table. And I'm like, all right, I gotta get I gotta go. I gotta go home. Like, I gotta get out of here. But I'm a little bit afraid that he might follow me to my car or something like that. So I start planning and being strategic from this point forward. So I try to pretend like everything is normal. I continue to have conversation with him. And at one point, he tells me that he recognizes someone who works at the restaurant. And this waiter, that wasn't our waiter, he's outside having a cigarette. He's having a smoke break. So he says, I'm going to get up and go talk to him because I know him. So I'm like, okay, I don't even care at this point. So he gets up and follows the waiter outside. So at this point, I tell our waitress, I, motion her to come over, and I tell her the whole thing. I said, listen, this is a first date. I'm really uncomfortable. And she said, we're already on it. Like, we noticed that you were, that he was raising his voice and kind of causing a scene. And I already told the restaurant manager about your table. So I tell her, okay, cool. Split the check. Bring me my half of the check, and that'll be it. Hopefully I can just get out of this situation. So she does exactly that. Now, when my date comes back from being outside, he tells me that he is part of a secret society, and the waiter is a member of that society. So our waitress brings over the check that I asked for, because I asked her to split it. So she brings it, and he is pissed. He's like, what are you doing? I told you I was paying for everything. And he slams his hands on the table, and he stands up. So she calls her manager over. I guess she got nervous, and she, motioned her manager to come over. And her manager was a man, a pretty big man at that. And he kind of stands in between, the commotion that's going on. And as they're talking, the chef of the restaurant comes out of the back. And I guess he knew about it as well. And he asked me if he could walk me to my car. So I say yes, and the chef and the manager kind of sneak me out the back door and walk me to the chef walked me all the way to the parking garage until I got in my car. And this guy is blowing my phone up. He calls me like 30-40 times. He's leaving me voicemails, and I deleted them, but he's leaving me voicemails like, why did you leave me here? What's going on? Like, why are you doing this to me? And I'm just like, dude, like, you're psycho. Like, so I ended up blocking him before I could really even leave the parking garage. He was like blocked. Like, once I realized he was calling me a lot, I just blocked him, and I never spoke to him again. But what's odd is the next day I did call, well, not the next day, but a couple of days after, I called the restaurant to thank the manager for what they did. And I mentioned to him the waiter, and the whole secret society thing, and he's like, yeah, he never came back to work. Like, he just stopped showing up. Like, we don't know dude that well. He just started. Like, yeah, he never came back. So that was really, really weird. Do I think that online dating can be successful? Yes. Did I figure that out for myself? No, I didn't. Online dating for me was horrible. It was the trenches. It was trash. Like, I'm so glad that I'm not on the dating scene at all. But if I was, online dating wouldn't be where I would go.
Not again, not again. Every single day, without fail, I am presented with a new set of information and new stories about men from dating apps that would make any woman who is still currently using dating apps like Hinge want to delete them faster than the speed of light, join a convent, and stay single for all of eternity. What I'm about to share with you guys, a story that I was just sent from a friend of mine, is so diabolical that I just have no words. Before I begin, I just want to say, and I'm sure that you guys are tired of hearing this phrase that's been floating around this app from different creators, dating apps will quite literally have you meeting people that you were never meant to meet, putting you in situations that you were never supposed to be in, and the universe will teach you why every time. I have my laptop here, and I'm just going to summarize this story and the text I was sent to the best of my ability for you guys. Basically, a friend of mine and her friends said that they saw my video that I made last week that went pretty viral about men from dating apps, and an account I found about a man who shares all of his experiences trying to sleep with women that he meets on dating apps on the first date. That's diabolical enough, but this is pure psychopath vibes. Like, I have no words. I'm just gonna get into it. So anyways, she matches with this man on Hinge. He's 35 years old. She said that she gave him her number, and they talked on the phone for an hour, and they had a great conversation. He made her laugh, and she even FaceTimed him for a few minutes and said that he was really good looking, had a good job, seemed really smart, so she agreed to go on a dinner date with him that he planned. The night that he planned the dinner date for, she had a work function prior, so she agreed to meet him at the restaurant after her work function, and she said she got to the restaurant, it was like 8:30. They had a great date, great conversation. They had a few glasses of wine, and they actually even stayed until the restaurant closed and they were told to leave. So she was like over the moon, had a great night with this guy. And he said, let's go for a little walk. And she's like, yeah, of course, but like it has to be a quick walk because I work the next day. They go on this walk. 15 minutes in, she says, listen, I really have to go home. I have work tomorrow. I wish this night didn't have to end. If it were a weekend, it would be another story. He says, no, let's go to a bar and get another drink. And she said, it's a weeknight. I really have to get home. He says, okay, how about I get you an Uber? She said at this point, there were no other red flags, no other inklings of misconduct, and he seemed just genuinely interested in her and wanted to spend more time with her. But unfortunately, she had to work the next day, and If it were a weekend, it would be another story. She can go get another drink with him. He was normal. He seemed like a gentleman. He paid the bill. He opened the doors. He did all the right things. She said her experience with him up until this point was reason enough to trust him to let him get her an Uber home. What could go wrong? And see, this should be a nice thing that men offer to do to get you home from a date safely via rideshare, but I guess not. I guess we have to be more careful with doing that now. And she said that she had been away from her office for hours and she hadn't charged her phone in hours. Her phone was on less than 10%. Also, he already knew where she lived because her building came up in a previous conversation that they had. Anyways, he confirmed her place of residence with her and he called the Uber and he waited for the Uber to get there. He escorted her into the Uber, gave her a kiss on the cheek, didn't even try to kiss her on the lips. She said he was such a gentleman. Anyways, she gets in the Uber. They get on their way. He stays behind. She asks the Uber driver for a charger. She starts looking at her phone until she realizes she is not going in the direction of her home. And she looks at the Uber's navigation that is in the front seat and sees that it is 3 minutes away from the destination that he's going to. She's saying this isn't correct. And he never sent her a screenshot or anything saying where he called the Uber to. So she is trying to call him and he doesn't pick up. And then the Uber driver gets to the building and she was like, wait, this is where he lives. Did he do this on accident? So she's calling him again. She's standing in front of the building and is about to call an Uber and he walks up to her and goes, you said you didn't want the night to end. And she's like, what? You called an Uber to your house? You called me an Uber to your house? And he's like, yeah, you said you didn't want the night to end, so the night's not going to end. You can sleep by me. We can just go to sleep. She said that she was panic-stricken. Her heart was pounding. Her fingers were shaking as she was trying to call an Uber. And he was inching closer to her saying, let's just go upstairs. You could take off your heels. I'll give you comfortable clothes. I'll pour you another glass of wine. We could watch a movie or just go to sleep, and I'll take you home first thing in the morning. Don't you want to do that? You said you didn't want the night to end. I don't want the night to end either. I don't see what the problem is. You think I'm just going to let you go that easily? Yeah, what he did is super illegal. That is quite literally false imprisonment. So if a man ever tries to do something like that to you, call the police immediately. Stat. Anyways, she said she was so terrified about the comment he made about not letting her get away that easily. And she was so frozen in time, couldn't move or speak, but she didn't know if she should scream or run and couldn't bring herself to do those things. The more silent she was, the angrier he got. He was talking crazy, saying, you want to spend more time with me. I'm making it a reality. I guess you're just this ungrateful. You're letting a great night go to waste. I'm going on vacation, so you won't see me for a bit unless you go upstairs with me right now or just never see me again. You probably don't even make a lot of money at your stupid job anyways. I could change your life tomorrow, but you won't let me. This is why you're single, and called her a bitch. Her Uber got there. She got in. She started crying, blocked him, reported him on Hinge, which I feel like that's nothing. Like, because apparently there's all these ways that you can get around being banned on Hinge, and you could literally just make a new account with a new number, a new email. This is so insane. Like, I have no words. I have like anxiety for her. Like, this sounds so traumatizing. Being banned from Hinge literally is not enough. He should be banned from society. Said that he was going away for a while. Sounds like he should be going to jail. He should be put behind bars. Like, or you might meet a good guy, a decent guy on a dating app once in a while, but what people don't understand is that these dating apps are hunting grounds for narcissists, for predators, for abusers, and you need to be so careful. And the best thing to do is just delete them. So go and delete your dating apps if you are still on them. I don't know what's going to convince you guys. Just be so careful. This is so crazy. I also want to say God was on her side in that situation. She had guardian angels right there with her, protecting her, making sure nothing happened to her. But most women do not get that lucky in situations like that. And that's what I really want to stress and emphasize to you guys.
Wait, so because since we're all telling Hinge horror stories, let me tell you one of mine. So this was like 3 years ago. So I think one of my friends had told me about Hinge, so I downloaded to see what was up. And before I even say anything in the story, I already know Ted Bundy would have had a field day with me. Everything I did was dangerous. Don't try nothing I did at home. So pretty much I'm, scrolling through Hinge, swiping out. But this one guy I seen before in person. I think he tried to talk to me in the street or something like that. I remember he was a skateboarder. And I remember like he had tattoos, but like of anime characters. I don't even know what my type was back then, because now that I'm thinking about now, like he's dead not my type. So he tried to talk to me. I was like, oh cool, look, I found him on Hinge. It would be cute if we match and then actually see what's up. Because, you know, I didn't give him my number. I said if we meet again, we meet again. So I matched him on Hinge. We start talking, do. After like 3 days, he's like, what you doing? I'm like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm laying home, you know, watching TV. He's like, oh, you should come over. Let's watch TV together. I'm like, shit, fuck it. Why not? Like I said, don't do what I do. So my first red flag was I got my own Uber there. Like I shouldn't have got my own Uber there. I got my own Uber there, and it was already after hours. It was like 10 p.m. And no, like in my head, I was not thinking like, oh, I'm about to go to this man to go sleep with him. I was just thinking we was really going to watch a movie, but peep game lock in. So I end up getting in an Uber, and I get there, and once I get to his like neighborhood, I'm in the Bronx, and I realize like it's a little ghetto over here. So I text them like as I'm getting deeper into the hood. I'm like, yo, I hope you downstairs waiting for me, because like it's a little ghetto over here, and I was clutching my pearls like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. Like, I don't know, like, you ever feel like you too pretty for a certain neighborhood? Like, that's me. Like, no tea, no shade, but I felt like I was too pretty to be in that neighborhood. So he was like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, it just be the guys outside for real. Like, I know them. I grew up in this neighborhood. I don't give a fuck. I didn't grow up in the neighborhood. So I told him to come get me. Red flag number 2. He did not come get me. Well, he did, but he didn't. So I was waiting outside for like 5 minutes. I should have just took my Uber back home, but I did not. He finally brought me upstairs, right? My third red flag, all the lights in the house was off. All of them. And he also lived with his mother. But the lights being off is always a red flag to me when I'm first going to somebody's house, because I feel like, in my head, I feel like you got roaches, and that's why your lights is off. Because he didn't even want to turn on the lights for me to like actually walk to his room. Like, and I'm here like stepping over bare equipment just to get to his room. Like, his living room gave like hoarder. So I finally get to his room, and he has like a gaming chair, and I sit in a gaming chair. You know, I do my little spin around because I'm trying to get the full 360 of what it actually looked like. All in the room is just LED lights. And I'm like, you don't got no light in your room. Like, you only use LED lights. He was like, yeah, I never really turn on the light. I just be using the LED lights. That's another red flag for me, because LED lights be hiding the real dirt and scrum that be on your walls. If you ever go to a guy room and you walk in, he got LED lights, just flick the light on for a real second. You're going to see all the fucking cum stains on their bed sheets. I promise you. Thank me later. So as I'm doing my little swivel around on the chair and I'm swirling around, I see a bucket of substances by the bed. So I did a little jokey joke, and I'm like, LMFAO, like, what's that in the bucket? Is that pee? He said, yeah, my fault, I forgot to throw it out. What? He was like, yeah, like, I take these medications, and like, I be having to use the bathroom all the time, so I just put the bucket by my bed so I can use the bathroom in the bucket, so I don't have to go to the bathroom all the time. Boy, you live in an apartment building in the Bronx. You mean the bathroom that's down the hall that you don't want to go to, so you pee in a bucket in your room? That's fucking disgusting. And you didn't even throw it away before I got here? Like, no, bro. I'm like, are you dead ass? He was like, yeah. He was like, I didn't even think you would have got, like, guess what it was? I was like, I didn't think so either. I thought your fucking ceiling was leaking and you had a fucking bucket. So instantly, I'm fucking grossed out. All the strikes are just building up at this point. So I'm like, oh, I have to use the bathroom. Like, can I use the bathroom? And he like, yeah, sure, I got you. So, you know, we go back through the living room, through the jungle. I'm walking over shit and trying to dodge shit to get to his bathroom. Finally get in his bathroom. The door has no doorknob. I'm like, how am I supposed to close the door? Like, if I close the door and I look through the hole, I can see you. Where's my privacy? He was like, yeah, we were supposed to get that fixed, but they ain't come fix that. Don't worry, you could just put something in it. So he takes like a thing of newspaper and he puts it in the doorknob. So I was like, okay. So I'm not sitting on the toilet. You know, as a girl, I'm going to squat, right? Before I even think, I look and I'm like, oh shit, there's no toilet paper. He was like, oh yeah, shit, I forgot to go get some of that. He's like, give me 1 second. He left and he hands me paper towel. Paper towel to wipe my coochie. And it wasn't even Bounty. It was some hard ass, rough ass paper towel. You live in the Bronx. They have 86-cent toilet paper, the little Marco brand. Yeah, like why didn't you even get one of those? Fair to say, like, after I used the bathroom, I made him get me an Uber back home. And I never spoke to that man again. Yeah. I don't even know what I was doing in his house. But if y'all want to hear another one of my dates, yeah. My little date stories, I got y'all.
Y'all, So I was supposed to go on this date, right? This guy hyped me up. He's so cute. He was like,
you know, he has a boat. He's going to take me fishing. Let's catch some big fish. You know, he's saying all this stuff, right? So I go onto his porch. It's like some closed porch or whatever with like couches on it. And he's like, oh, do you want a drink? I'm like, no, I'm okay. Thank you. You know, because I didn't care to drink. And I don't like people making drinks for me if I don't know them. But let me tell you something. My discernment and my rule came in clutch. So I say no to the drink. We start chilling on his porch. He got his arm around me, and he's like not that close to me, but he's close to me. And he's like, oh, you know, asking me normal questions. And I'm like, yeah, when are we going to go fishing? Like, I was excited to go. You said we're going to catch some big fish. He's like, you know, I just got back from Block Island. I'm tired. I don't really feel like doing that. I'm like, oh, well, I'm like, dang, you got me so excited, like, to go. I was excited to catch some big fish, like, you know, on your boat. He's like, yeah, well, you know, I just woke up from the nap. You gotta ease into it. You gotta get me excited to go. He kept saying that. Like, I need to get him excited to go. I'm like, okay, let's go do something. I was like, let's go to the beach. Like, let's go hang out, whatever. Like, if you don't feel like fishing, like, let's go do something. So he's like saying, yeah, we could do that. Let's just ease into it. I'm like, okay. He just kept saying that. Bro, so, and then he gets up, he's like, you know, I think you need a drink. I'm like, okay. Like, he's like, I got whiskey, I got Corona Light, I think, whatever. Well, I'm gonna go make you a drink. I'm like, okay. He come back with a drink. He give me the drink. I don't even pretend to sip on it. So, I sit down, I'm like, oh, thank you. You know, he has his drink in his hand. He's like, cheers. I'm like, cheers. And I don't drink it. Like, I don't give a shit to make anyone feel comfortable. I'm not drinking the drink. Simple as that. So I think he peeped that, and he was like a little like, you know, looking at me, and he started drinking his drink. Like, you could notice it was like so fast, like he was trying to tell me, like, girl, get a clue. At one point he was like, oh, you're not dehydrated? Like, are you not thirsty? I'm like, dehydrated? Why would I be dehydrated? Because, you know, the sun can drain you. You should probably drink. When I tell y'all, I think he put some shit in that drink, and I am so glad I didn't sip. I didn't even put my lips on that shit. So anyway, right? We talking. He get even closer. I'm telling you, thigh to thigh. This is my first time meeting this guy. He got his arm around me, and he rubbing his hand on my damn arm. I'm like, you know, he got his arm around me, rubbing my hand. He's a cute guy, but when you get that vibe of somebody being actually weird and a little scary, it's not cute no more. I was like, I'm just like, I started sitting up. I'm like, you know, we should go do something. We should go to the beach. Da-da-da. Y'all. So I tell him, and he finally get a clue. He's like, well, when you're a local here, you're so used to it. Like, he's like, man, Monique, you're really gonna make me do all that? You're gonna really make me get the boat out? Oh my gosh, like, you're gonna work me today? I'm like, what? Like, you the one that told me to come over here so we can go fishing. Like, the fuck? So he kept saying that too, like, oh, you're really gonna put me to work? Like, you gotta ease me into it. You gotta get me excited to do it. I'm like, get you excited to do the plans you told me you was gonna do? Bro, I said, okay, let's just go to the beach. He got the idea, because I kept saying, let's just do something. I started looking up the beaches, because I'm like, where am I at right now? I gotta make sure everybody know where my location at. So I started screenshotting that shit, and we looking at beaches, and then there was a bar. I'm looking at the bar. I'm like, okay, that's not far, whatever. So I'm like, okay, I gotta put on my bathing suit. I think I'm gonna go change and put on my bathing suit. He's like, okay, come inside. You could come inside. Come change in the bathroom. Okay, nigga. So I changed into my bathing suit in the bathroom. I'm scared because the window, it's like, it got some sheer ass. You could literally see through the window. So if he was outside, I don't know what he was doing outside, but he kept going back and forth while I'm in the bathroom, and he could see me in the fucking bathroom changing. So I'm like, nah, I'm not about to change. Like, you get me fucked up. So I leave out the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna change for the beach. Like, let's go. I go to my porch, and just something in me is just like, girl, you need to go. You gotta go. I don't care. Looks is not nothing. And it's crazy. Like, in his pictures, he was cute, but like in person, I'm like, he kind of pulled that off very nicely. He pulled it off. So yeah, y'all, I text my mom. I'm like, Mom, act like there's an emergency and call me right now. She calls me. I'm doing a whole scene or whatever, and he's in the house. So I don't know if he could hear me the whole time. I'm like, acting like I got a phone call or whatever, and I don't even know if he can hear me. So I start calling out his name, like, hey, so he knows I gotta go. Then I text my sister, like, to make it seem like everybody's calling me about this shit. I have my sister call me, and I do the same thing. Mind you, he's in the house. I don't know what he's doing while he's in there. He's packing up his bag to go fishing. To go to the beach. He finally comes out when I get off the phone, and I'm like, oh, I was trying to call out your name. Like, I have to go. I'm telling him I have to go. Like, it's been an emergency. Like, I have to go. I'm so sorry. This is a bad first impression. I was trying to call out your name before you started, like, grabbing your stuff. Because he came out with a whole book bag of shit. I don't know what he had in that bag, but it was big of stuff for the beach. So, he came out and then, yeah. So, he got tight. Like, his face got so serious. And it was like, you know what? I was like, what? I'm like, what? He's like, there's plenty of fish in the sea. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? I have to go. I'm like, I'm sorry. This is a bad first impression, but I'm sorry. I have to go. I give him a hug to leave. He's like, it's no worries. There's plenty of fish in the sea. I'm like, okay. And before I forget, right, let's just run it back to and I dip off after that, but let's just run back to the fact that when I got there, when we were sitting down, I was like, I want to go fishing, da-da-da. He said, what do you mean? We're starting right now. This is fishing. We're getting the bait on the hook, and we're about to cast it out. Like, while we're sitting on the porch. I'm like, what are you talking? I don't get it. I was like, I don't get it. I kept saying that. I don't get it. And I'm saying it just like that. I don't get what you're talking about. He's like, no, we're fishing right now. We're getting started right now. Everything that he was saying, y'all, was scaring the shit out of me. I never felt that feeling before that intensely in my life. And I got the hell out. I said, I gotta go. I said, And now I'm on my way to another date. I'm gonna go get me some oysters, y'all, and I'm about to be comfortable. Like, I want to be where I'm comfortable. I don't like being nowhere I'm not comfortable. I said, this guy's a little weird. I gotta go. And I got the fuck ASAP.
Please stay off them dating apps. Like, if you're young, you're bored, you don't got nothing to do, the worst thing you could do is get on a dating app. Like, if you're bored, sis, just go get a hobby. I promise you. You're not missing nothing. Like, stay off the dating apps, because the real weirdos and creeps, that's where they be at, on them damn dating apps. So I'm gonna tell you a story time about how I met this guy off of BOK and how he ended up physically assaulting me. So I met this guy off of BOK. He was dark skinned. He's really cute. And for reference, he looks like Pop Smoke. Like, literally. Like, I wish I could show y'all a picture. So I don't know why. Don't judge me. I was young. I decided to link him. And when I linked him, I found out that he actually was like a sibling of someone that I grew up with. So once I found that out, I'm like, okay, like, you're cool. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean anything. Clearly, I'm just a dumb bitch. But he also had a roommate. And the roommate that he lived with, I grew up with him as well. So yeah, I went to this man's house. He didn't take me on a date. Like I said, the standards were just low then. It's not that they were low. I was just dumb, young, and naive, okay? Like, that would never happen in real life, in real time, in this day of age for me. But, yeah, so I knew the roommate. Like I said, I grew up with him. And, me and Pop Smoke really hit it off, like, well, I guess, because I was going over his house, like, maybe, every once in a while, he was cool, but I didn't, take him seriously. You know what I'm saying? So it was this one day that I went over his house. Mind y'all, we never did anything. Like, never. I would go to his house. We would chill, listen to music. We would talk, and that would be it. Excuse me. And so that was basically all we would do. So one day I had came over his house, and the roommate happened to be out of his room. So me and the roommate was just talking about, school and how we grew up together and just the normal stuff that you talk about with people that you grew up with. So The roommate ended up going back to his room, and then it was just me and Pop Smoke alone in his room. So Pop Smoke asked me, he was just like, why haven't we did anything yet? Like, is there like something wrong with me? Like, why haven't you gave me head yet? Gave you head? Nigga, I don't even fucking know your ass, bitch. That's what I really wanted to say, but what I told him was like, why would I give you head? You haven't even insinuated a date. You haven't even tried to, at least shit, give me a kiss first. Like, and he's like, a kiss? I said, yes, a kiss. He said, yeah, no, why would I do that? Why would I give you head? Who do you think I am? A bop? He's like, yeah, we don't got to do anything. Like, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I don't, like. So it just got so awkward, and I'm just like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to go ahead and, like, leave. And he's like, yeah, I think you should leave. So I get up to put my shoes on, and he grabs my jacket and my keys. And I'm like, okay. I'm thinking to myself, like, what the fuck? So I'm thinking he's just like, you know, about to help me put my jacket on. This nigga's like, you need to hurry up. And then tosses my jacket and my keys outside. Is you cool, bitch? Now I'm taking my time because, bitch, you got me activated. So now I'm like, yeah. I absolutely have to. So I put my shoes on mad fucking slow because, like, nigga, yeah, you got me fucked up. And I'm like, I finally put my shoes on, and I'm just like, I'm not going nowhere until you pick up my jacket and my keys and hand it to me. Then I'll leave. Y'all, I should have just got out that man house. I should have just got out that man house. But the pride in me, I'm not going like that. First of all, you trying to fake kick me out and then throw my jacket and my keys on the floor? Like, a bitch has dignity, okay? A bitch has dignity.